guys, just a quick one today because obviously I'm moving home and I'm going to be disconnecting from the grid, and this will be the last video for a while. I might be back for the video on Wednesday, Thursday, but I'm actually supposed to be off next week, but we'll see how we go. So the Euro USD, we'll start with this because we had that support. We'd had to break below, and now we can see we've got it back again. So it's quite frustrating, and that would have probably irked me a little bit had I been trading, but I am not trading this week. So we can see we've got that support back again. You could maybe argue we've got like inverse head and shoulders potentially. You know, that's the stop hunt head, inverse left shoulder. Maybe we might get a right shoulder potentially, but you can see how they sold it, so we should have come up, but we just went sideways. And then they sold it, but then they got paid. So it's quite interesting. So this level here is going to be of note: 109.40, 109.50. So you can know where to put your stop, keep it nice and tight. You could even have a stop there, but it's a little bit wide. You could have one there. So you potentially could look for a long and then look to TP around here. Let's look at S&P. I think it's going to be sideways. Well, they're going long ever so slightly. We might get a risky sell. This is fine because they went long, right? So that's fine. And we've got some supports here. So 4137, 4118, and then we've got one at 4121 and 4104. So we might come down to test these supports. Note that that was a resistance support, that was a resistance, and that's a support. So we've got definitely some levels of support here on these four boxes, and this one even might come into play as well. And the reason for it is because they went long, so therefore we fell, but we see that price, if it's above, it's going to be a good support. So 4138. So ideally we might want it above 4138. You can see how they started to go long, and so they got punished. And then they sold it here, and then so we pumped. All right, so be careful. Probably are going to fall. We want to be testing some of these demand zones. These are turncoat resistance and support, because price is above it. We use it as a springboard to bounce off. So fairly okay. This is fine because they've gone long, and these guys have to get punished. Okay, I think DAX is going to be looking fairly similar because we're very extreme, and we probably need to fall because of the sentiment is so skewed. And obviously this is a big stop hunt, isn't it? So wow, that it is what it is, isn't it? That's because we've got the risky sell, so we're falling. But at the big picture, we are a buy, but we're very, very skewed. That's why I was saying to be careful. And maybe some support here: 15.772, 15.721. So that might come into play. We'll just elongate that box. We'll look at US 30. So that might come into play potentially. Oops, try and capture it properly. That's fine. I was selling things on Facebook, and all my items sold, so that's cool. Right, so that might come into play. So we'll just click OK, and then we can come back to this when we do the video next week. This will change obviously a lot. We probably should be higher, but we'll have to wait and see. We don't really want them to be going long. If they do, we'll fall. Okay, US 30, and then last one, and I'm guessing the same. How are we looking? That's kind of sideways. So I mean, you can see how they're going long over time. So we're falling. If you just follow the price action, we fell. They sold, so that we went up to test that. Sold it. We went sideways. They went long. So here-ish. And then they sold it. It's come up. So it does mirror it. And so I think potentially we're going to come here. We're potentially going to come here. Perhaps we can elongate this one as well. So it looks like a fairly risk-off day today. Got to be careful. And also, don't forget, it's we're going to be end of the week soon. And so you can see some portfolios get adjusted because of the end of the month, end of the week, and things like that. So that might come into play. The reason for it is that they went long, so price fell. It did fall a little bit, and it just went sideways for a while. Then they sold it here, so up we come. So this was a decent resistance, and now it should, because it was a good resistance, it should be a good support. Here, for example. So perhaps down to here for a bounce. So remember to trade safely, and I won't speak to you guys for a while. It'll be back on Wednesday, Thursday. It might even be the following Monday, but I'll try and get some analysis through to you each day if possible. And the COT data will just be the COT data on its own, which you need Microsoft Excel for, but there won't be an accompanying video for it. It will just be the COT data, which is fine. You know how to use the COT data, don't you? And that's it. So I'll speak to you guys at some point next week.